Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to The Cosmic Catch-Up. I'm Corri.
And I'm Dana. We're real-life sisters who said no thanks to the 9-to-5 grind and yes, please, to the stars, spirit, and soul-led living.
Around here, we're talking ascension, astrology, human design, sound healing, and the messy magic of waking up.
So if you've ever thought, there's got to be more than this, you're our people. Two sisters, deep talks, whole lot of magic. Let's catch up. Hey, Corri.
Hi, Dana. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Cosmic Catch-Up.
I messed up.
Where we just filmed a 50-minute episode that had no sound.
It had no sound. That was my fault.
So we're back.
I forgot to push the button.
Take two.
And
so we dropped a bunch of wisdom you're never going to hear.
You'll never know.
You'll never know.
You'll never. And I'm going to have to trust, because this episode's a little bit about trust, that you weren't meant to hear all that.
That's right.
We're going to.
Maybe we just rambled a little too long.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Spirit said, no, we don't think so.
That message sucked.
It was not good.
You need to redo this.
Yes.
So here we are. We're going to redo it.
Okay, so we're going to try and remember what we talked about.
Well, I'm first going to ask you, because I did think it was an interesting story that we kicked off the first time around. But you're trying something new. Tell us about that.
I am. So interestingly enough, I have been getting nudges for a little while. And I was talking about this with a friend the other day, and I said, I just don't have time for this. And that's something called automatic writing. And automatic writing is essentially sitting down and just having a pen and a piece of paper and allowing words to come through. And some people think, oh, is it just my inside voice chatting? But ultimately, it's typically spirit or some other higher power that's sharing information with you. And I've been getting the nudge for a while to try automatic writing. But what really kind of started it was I was listening to a book called You Are a Channel. And I forget the name of the author, but it was a great little book. And she'd been channeling for 30 some years, and she teaches other people to channel. So she was giving tips, and automatic writing was a big one, where you just sit down and let the words flow. And then you don't think about it. You don't do anything with it until you're done. And then you go back and you read it out loud. And so I've done it twice now, and there was nothing profound, which is why I didn't bring it. But it was a little bit interesting, because when I read it, the way I phrase things is not how I would talk. So it made me think, okay, maybe this is coming from somewhere else or my higher self.
Yeah.
And when you do it, you can ask specific questions. I said, what do I need to know at this time? And really, I think the first one was really about love, which is great.
Yeah.
Yep. And I forget. Oh, and change is coming. That was another one, which again, so I don't think it's profound, because we can see what's happening.
Know that,
but
all that's good.
But I was like, okay, great. So I'm just trying to commit to doing it every day, sitting, meditating, and then seeing what wants to come. If it's a good message, great. If it's not, that's fine too.
So how long? You said you're going to commit to this every day. So how long? Like, do you have a time? Like, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, or?
It's kind of whatever comes until I feel complete. Like the first time, I think it's the way it ended was go in love. The second time was go in peace.
Said go.
It
said
said
done.
go.
Said
like,
go.
yeah, it said like, we're done here. They were not very long. Sometimes they can get pages and pages long. Mine was maybe 3 paragraphs.
Okay.
So I think it's just kind of getting the feel of it. And I'm trying not to get in my head about it and questioning. That's why you shouldn't go back and read it, because then you'll start saying, well, wait, what about this? And what about that? So I'm just kind of letting, and I would say it moves. Like I move pretty quickly writing. And then when it pauses or stalls, I think, okay, well then that's it. That's probably it. It's
well,
done.
cool.
So,
I'm excited to see how this progresses. And if you get any awesome, profound messages for the group, please do share.
I am asking if there's anything that we need to share with our podcast audience. And so we'll see.
We'll see if anything
But
comes
yeah,
up.
keep you posted. But that's my new thing, to try and tap into my intuition. I have gotten the big sense that now is the time for me. I have a ton of planets in Aries. Aries is my 12th house, Aries and Pisces, and it's a very large house. And so several have been sitting there for quite some time. But as we move into, and I think you're going to talk a little bit about the astrology, but as more and more planets enter Aries, I'm feeling very much this is the time to focus on my intuition, my spirituality, tapping more into that, and doing things to help advance in that area.
Yes, actually, on April 9th, we have Mars moving into Aries, where it will join Neptune and Saturn and the Sun and Chiron. And then in a few more days, we'll have Mercury also joining. So big lineup of planets in the sign of Aries. And all of our planets are direct right now, so no retrogrades, which is also emphasizing that action-oriented feelings. Let's start something, initiate, create. And it doesn't always have to be outward in the world. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I've got to go do this project. It can be more internal or more like, okay, I'm going to heal this thing within me, or I'm going to do more meditating, or I'm going to start a business. I mean, it could be that too. So just trust whatever nudges you're getting.
Yep. So it's big time to listen to that intuition. And we're going to talk a little bit about intuition today, aren't we?
We are. We've touched on this topic a little bit in our first season about our own spiritual and matrix awakenings. We thought we'd go a little bit deeper today and talk about the differences between the two, and that you don't always go through them at the same time, and you may not even have only gone through one and maybe not the other.
Yep.
And what does that look like?
Yep. And I think for us, we both went through our spiritual awakening at different times. You were much earlier than me, but I'd say we both went through our matrix awakening at the same time. And having that spiritual awakening, I think, helped soften the matrix awakening in a pretty significant way. I've known others who have been just spiritual, and I've known others who have just been matrix. It's not good or bad. It's just different. I will say having both, I think, has helped us manage the current environment.
Definitely helps sort of keep my own inner peace while the crazy is going on, because we can't stop the crazy and we don't want to. But how do I maintain my own level of joy and peace throughout that time?
Yeah. So when you think about the awakenings, the different ones, spiritual is more internal and the matrix is more external. And so what brings those two together is your nervous system. And so we won't talk necessarily about nervous system regulation, but I think that's really, really important because it's going to bridge that body and that soul. So when you think about it, again, if you've only gone one or the other, or maybe even both, you may lean into one more than the other and ignore the other. We've really tried to manage both as best we can.
Yeah. I mean, if you can be someone who is seen through the system, but feel disconnected from yourself, and you can be deeply spiritual and still be totally programmed into the system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild when you look at it that way. So for me, when we talk about, I started my spiritual awakening back in 2015, but I was still doing all the programmed stuff. And I didn't wake up to the programming until 2020. So there was 5 years of, we're following the rules and trusting that someone in power above me knew better than I did.
Yeah.
And so I'll just follow those rules.
Even though spiritually you're taught you are your own power, power within, we still bought into, but trust these experts or trust the thing versus
trusting yourself.
Trusting and knowing our intuition and what it's telling us.
Yes.
So we'll get into that more in a little bit. Yeah. So let's talk about the two awakenings. So first one is the spiritual awakening.
What does that look like, Corri?
And that is having an awareness of your energy, frequency body, that you are more than this body on earth. It's having a connection and trusting that intuition, which is connected to your higher self and to source. It's all about healing and doing inner work, because we bring a lot of trauma into this world. And our belief is that we as souls choose the life that we want to live. And so the way I see it is you're sitting up in heaven or wherever in the spirit world, and your guides sit you down. It's like a movie theater, and they're like, okay, we've got 3 lives to show you. Which one do you want? And you get a little quick movie of each, and then you go, okay, well, I could learn this over here, but then I'm missing that. But over here, I could do this other thing, but maybe not that. Okay, this one, I'm going to learn this, this, and this, and I've been trying to learn those for millennia. Now I can finally do it. So I'm going to choose this life. So we come down, and we're here to learn these lessons. But with that, through all these different lives that we've led, learning all these different lessons, we bring trauma in. And so part of our job and our role is to help heal the trauma, whether that's ancestral or from other lives or even our current life. We have trauma from when we're little. And so it's really working through that and having an emotional awareness of like what's happening, right? And seeing the bigger picture, if you will, spiritually.
Yeah, and there's multifaceted benefits to healing the trauma, doing the inner work, whatever you want to call it. There is a lightness in your soul. You get to tap into trust and love, and you just feel better in life in general. But also, when we do that, we become in deeper connection with our own intuition.
Yep.
And our own emotional intelligence.
Yep. Okay, so I'd say then the difference with that is while you trust in the higher power and everything that's going on, you may not be questioning what's going on in the physical world.
Right. Still going to my job, still going to see my doctor, still
taking my pharmaceutical meds,
eating
all the different foods, junk foods, whatever. Yeah. So
I mean, if the FDA approved it, it's got to be safe, right?
It's got to be good for you. So with that leads us into our matrix awakening. So Dana, what's the matrix awakening?
Well, you start to question everything. You start to question all of our systems, the media, like the narratives that are out there. You start having an awareness to what are they putting in our food? What
are these ingredients that are listed? Why are there 50
lines in the sky? And why do we have such a spike in health problems? And why, after how many years, do we still not know how to treat cancer? Like how to cure
100
it?
years.
Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So we start to see the manipulation and the control of these systems, and we start to see through the lies we've been told.
Especially when you're watching the news and you flip around and they're all saying the exact same thing. And you're like, that's weird.
Spouting a lot of fear. With that, it can be very scary and dark, and that's really hard too. But looking through it, you're looking out the external world. Again, that matrix awakening is more external. You start questioning everything, but you also start seeing patterns, and you really ramp up in your critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which we're not taught how to do.
That's right.
In school. Interesting.
Yep. Oh, huh.
Wonder why that is.
Yeah, they don't want us thinking, huh? Yeah, so when you think about being spiritual without the matrix, you're connected more internally. You're probably a little more, or potentially could be more disconnected from the current reality of everything that's going on.
Yep.
You could be very trusting in a higher power in the universe, but then maybe not discerning about what's actually happening in front of you.
And who to trust and who not to trust.
Yeah. So the matrix without spiritual, what does that look like?
That's more disconnected from your internal space. So you're more reactive. It's easy to get triggered. There can be a lot of lower vibrational emotions tied to that, like anger, frustration, fear can all be tied into that. And instead of being grounded in the self.
Yep. So both are forms of awakening.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit incomplete on their own.
I would agree with that.
So spiritual path may avoid hard truths that are sitting right in front of you. It could be not focused on your physical responsibility because, again, the body is connected through internal and external sources. So you're working on the healing, but then you're still putting bad stuff in your body. So you're not necessarily connecting the two.
Yeah.
And it can avoid disrupting again, everything is love and light and it's great. And you're not grounded necessarily in the reality of what's happening in front of you.
Right. From a matrix perspective, we can be avoiding our own inner healing and avoiding our own trauma, not taking any ownership of our own emotions or our own choices. But this idea of there's an external blame.
Yeah.
Somebody else did this to me.
Yeah, I think with the matrix awakening, we can point our fingers at whether it's government, society, your current city, education.
It's the systems.
Yeah. And also feel helpless.
Yeah.
Like you can't control or do anything about it. And so it's if I can't do anything, I might as well just keep living like I live because I can't change it. I can't do anything different. And the reality is yes, you can. And we'll talk a little bit about at the end what you can do right now to help with the current systems that are happening.
Yeah.
I think though, when you can combine the two together, there is, you can feel deeply, and we talk about the trauma and the things that we've healed, but you can also think critically.
Yes.
You can have a trust in a higher power, but you can still question what's happening in front of you. And we also have the opportunity, we can look inward as well as outward. And instead of placing blame on others, we can turn to ourselves and say, okay, well, what part did I play? Or how could I do something different? Is there an opportunity for me to change versus expecting everyone else or other things to change?
Yeah, I like that. Like, it's really about trusting your intuition, and then you can verify it. Like, question, use your discernment, and then you verify as things happen. So it's about taking care of your own energy and your own body, and question systems. Observe your own patterns. Like, what are you still buying into? What do you need to let go of? Kind of thing. So it's exciting when you can merge the two, because it does take you out a little bit of the day-to-day chaos to see a bigger picture. We've heard, and I agree, that there is a chess game going on behind the scenes. And I don't play chess, so I can't assume to understand and know everything. But the spiritual side of me can say, okay, I know it's moving us forward in a positive way. Like, I'm trusting that God, creator source, isn't going to lead us down a bad path and is not going to leave us hanging. And I also know that I'm an eternal being. So, I mean, okay, let's just see what happens.
So I think for both of us, it's been a gradual process. So when we started our spiritual awakening, the thing is being awake doesn't necessarily mean you've taken steps. So it is important to take steps with both. So from a spiritual awakening perspective, it's doing inner work. It's healing trauma. It's working on yourself. It's seeing where you're triggered, or areas maybe where you're putting external blame, where you have to look inward. So we've been doing that since our respective awakenings. And then with the Matrix awakening, that one was really hard. I think because we started with, while we had our spiritual awakening, there was still a little bit of fear and maybe more so depression of everything is tainted and everything is bad for us. And how are we supposed to live in this world, even though we've been doing it?
Yeah.
For 40 plus years.
You take that red pill.
You take the red pill, you can't untake it. However, what we said was, okay, how can we start making shifts in our life that for the better?
Yes.
So we started looking at organic foods and how do we make sure that we're eating organic? We read box labels. We read labels to see, and if we don't know what it is, we either look it up or we don't buy it. I avoid, well, as much as possible, like I don't ever cook with canola or vegetable oil. I always use, whether it's coconut, avocado, olive oil. And if something's made with it, because you really can't avoid getting away from it.
Hard.
I choose the lesser evils, which is probably safflower or sunflower oil versus canola or vegetable. So that's just for me, my personal choice. I alter recipes though. We use things like arrowroot powder or things that people are like, what is that? We started looking at what we're putting on our bodies. And we've talked a lot about fabrics and clothing and what we sleep in and how we bathe and what's in our water. And so we just kind of started taking those baby steps. So I would say if you're awake to everything going on, don't throw your hands and say, well, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
You can do baby steps. I gave up soda years ago when I realized how many bad things are in it. For me, I was like, I'm not doing it. Our mom drinks a can a day, and there's aspartame, which is not good for you. And so there's lots of things. I would just encourage you to read your labels and then make a decision. Trust your intuition. Does your intuition say it's okay to do or not? But we also bless our food. Anything we put in our bodies.
Yeah.
Bless it.
Our intentions are incredibly powerful, and our beliefs are what created this reality, quite frankly. So it's the most important thing is do what you believe to be right for you. Because if you think something is bad for you and you do it anyway, then it's almost worse than if you just thought it was good for you.
Yeah.
So
I think to think about, so we avoid pharmaceutical drugs. And trust me, that's tough when you have a headache or a backache.
There are alternatives. They are not as fast, but it's also, to me, a headache is also a sign of like, okay, let's lay down. Let's get some rest.
Yep. So I do think it's important. People have lived off the land for hundreds of years, and we have gotten so accustomed to, we want a quick fix right away. And that's what these drugs do, but we don't really understand how they impact our insides, whether it's our immune system, which has to make the body function, the mitochondria of the cell, which is needs to be healthy. And I don't know the last time y'all went to a doctor and they told you how your cells were doing. That's the most important thing, right? They're used to treating symptoms, not solving root causes.
And again, they're not necessarily doing it on purpose. No. It's just how they were trained.
That's right.
It's what they were taught is push a pill.
And if you want to go down a rabbit hole, you could dig into the Rockefellers and how banking, pharma, the education system all tie back to some consistent, very wealthy families. And how do you get people under control? Is you control those systems.
Yeah. So if you're just in the Matrix awakening to that can feel very terrifying and like hopeless.
Yep.
To the point of like, how do we get out of this? But with the marriage of that spiritual awakening, we can say, okay, there's a reason why this is happening. There's a reason why now all these truths are coming out and being revealed, and the atrocities that have been committed against humanity are being brought to the surface. And with the spiritual viewpoint, it's because it's time to heal those things. And the astrology supports everything going on right now. So for me, when we see another headline of something awful that has happened, it's now to say, for me, I'm like, okay, that's a good thing because we can now see it and we can heal it and we can let it go. And we're going to have more and more truths being revealed over the next several years. But every time I see that, I'm like, okay, good. That means we're moving forward.
Yeah, so don't take a headline at face value.
Yes.
And if you're in the Matrix awakening, don't trust the government. But they are going to put out truths, but potentially spin it in a way that looks negative. So just take a step back and say, does this resonate? How does it resonate? And is it maybe different than what they're saying? And then trust that intuition. But no, and again, the astrology, can't say enough great things about astrology. It's so on point. And that has really helped guide us through the Matrix, because the astrology guides you where we're headed. And so it's just helpful to know that, which also helps keep you a little more even keel, keep your nervous system in check. But to your point, there's a lot of stuff that's going to start coming out, and you really want to manage that nervous system. And ultimately, if you don't do anything but one thing, I would say try to hold a vibration of love. And when you hold that love, it will spread and it will help support. And you think, well, what am I going to do? It is contagious. And the more that those of us that are aware hold that love, we will continue to bring that forward, and it will usher us into the new world, which we are moving into very quickly. And I think we're actually maybe even ahead of schedule. And so over the next several years, we're going to be seeing teardowns, but we're also going to be rebuilding. And as Honey Golden says, next year we're moving into the fifth dimension, not just the density. We're in the density now, fifth density, but saying we're moving into fifth dimension, and we're going to start building a lot of amazing things. And so while things may seem tough now, just know we have to get through the icky stuff to get to the good stuff. And again, our souls chose it to learn lessons and to keep moving forward. And so if we don't learn, we don't grow. Yeah. So we're learning a lot right now.
Yeah, I think this is not an analogy I came up with, but it's used a lot and it's really gross, but very appropriate, is if you have a boil on your skin or a really bad blister, typically the best way or the fastest way to heal it is you lance that boil, you lance that blister, and you let all
the... It's going to hurt real bad,
and all the pus and all the gross stuff festering in the skin comes out. But then you wipe it away and
it heals.
And it heals. Like, it's exposed to the oxygen, it's exposed to the air, and you can put some natural remedies on it, whatever you need. And then it heals a lot faster. So again, we're in the phase of that boil has been lanced and we're purging the gross stuff out of it. And while it hurts and it's awful and it can be really emotional, I know that means that the beginning of the healing is right on the other side of this. So that gets me excited. And that helps me stay in a higher vibration of like, okay, I'm not going to tap in and watch all the disclosure and grossness because I already have a good idea of what it is. I like seeing, something else was revealed. Great. I don't need to dig into it for my own mental health, But I can be like, okay, good. That's another good sign. Or there's volatility in the financial markets. I'm like, that's a really good sign. Like all this stuff that we see that is meant to invoke fear. Don't be afraid of it.
And if you have done your inner work and have healed, you may not experience any of the challenges that maybe your neighbor or your best friend's experiencing, because you're going to see a separation and a dichotomy between worlds.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to articulate this in a way that makes sense. However, those that have done the healing are probably not going to experience the chaos like those that have not.
Correct. So we're seeing, especially in the Schumann, and we've seen this over the last couple of years, many timeline jumps. We just had another one earlier this week. And if you follow the work of Dolores Cannon, she's talked about the splitting of Earth many times, and there's a lot of signs indicating that we are splitting. The realities,
we're in it.
We're in it. Yeah. The realities are still close enough where you can see your neighbor going through something, but you yourself aren't experiencing it. I saw via social when airport TSA lines were out the door. And then in the next post, someone was at a different airport and they're like, oh yeah, there's no issues here at all. So to me, that's a great example of people living in different realities. And the ones that do the inner work, that can maintain a higher vibration of love, tend to have a lot more ease moving through it. And again, you might have a trauma light lifetime.
Yeah.
And lucky. That's great. You chose it. Amazing. So you don't necessarily have to go, you don't have a lot of craziness that you have to go and heal. And then there are others who have a very trauma heavy lifetime that they do need to spend more time working on those things. It varies for everyone.
And if something triggers you, that is a sign to dig in to understand what's triggering you and why, and then to go heal that trigger.
Yeah. Everything is a mirror for ourselves. So if something angers you, then you go, okay, why am I angered or bothered by that? Why does that make me feel X? And that's how you start to peel back those layers.
Yep. And work on the healing.
Very important.
Well,
but yeah, I think we're in for an exciting ride. It's an exciting time. And to dig in a little bit to maybe both sides, like ask yourself, am I awakened to both areas? Am I more awakened in one than the other? And are there things I can do to maybe start to integrate both of those awakenings?
Agree. Because if you avoid them with whether it's toxic positivity or pretend that they're not happening, it's going to get you one way or the other. It may not be now, but it may be later.
We don't want you to be gotten.
No, we don't.
We want you to have ease through this transition of humanity into this next level. We want you to come with us into this new earth that is going to be so amazing and so beautiful. And we should do an episode on that. And to feel good in yourself, like find your peace, rest that nervous system in whatever way you can. That is what would make me happy.
So we did pull a card and I liked the card. So I'm not going to reshuffle because I think this card is very appropriate.
It was really spot on.
So the card is, what can I burn? Burn it all. The ugly lies, the pain, the shame, the criticism, the images that run through your head, the reminders of what you did wrong, and the proof that you are not enough. Burn, baby, burn. Your soul is calling. It's time for a rebirth. You are like the phoenix rising from the ashes, no longer attached to the past. You are free. Your wings are ready. Use them. So today's soul action is make the choice that you will no longer let the past define you. Pick up your pen. What will your next chapter look like? And now is the perfect time to start writing that new chapter, because we are building a new earth and it's whatever you want it to be, because we are the creators.
I absolutely love this card.
I know. I kind of want to put it on my wall because it's awesome.
I mean, maybe you should. Maybe we all should. And
maybe.
I love that phrase, burn it, because I apply that to our 3D matrix, because I'm like, and the reason I can say, let's burn it all down, burn all the systems down, is because I have a view of what wonderful awesomeness we can build once we get rid of the old.
I think you mentioned we will do an episode on what we think the future may look like.
What we would like it to look like.
Not only what we'd like, I think what we've heard other people talk about and what excites us from what other people have said. So there will be a lot to share. So look for that upcoming. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, got a little bit out of it. We enjoyed spending our time with you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for catching up with us on the Cosmic Catch-Up. If today's episode sparked something in your soul, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share the magic with your fellow seekers. You can hang with us on Instagram at the Cosmic Catch-Up for behind-the-scenes updates and more cosmic goodness.
And if you're feeling the call to go deeper, we offer personal guidance through our individual practices. All the details are in the show notes. And if it's aligned, we trust you'll feel it. Until next time, keep following the magic. The content we share reflects our personal experiences, insights, and opinions. We're not medical, legal, or financial professionals, and we encourage you to always do your own research, trust your intuition, and seek guidance from qualified experts when needed. Take what resonates and leave the rest. This journey is yours to explore.